Something that I've realized as of recent is that I've been writing on this lessons journal, the one that I showed you in my journaling video. I've been writing lessons since October of last year, October 2022. It's currently it's September. Today's the first day of September 2023. And throughout, not really like my whole life, but throughout like these past couple of years, there have been a lot of people who have told me, David, you should make a book, or you should do a podcast, or you should do a YouTube video, or something, right? In which that's what I'm doing now. But I find that a lot of these thoughts that arise, like making a book or making a podcast, they're not necessarily my thoughts. They're not something that I desire. I was writing in my lessons journal in the style of writing a book. I kept on writing it as if I was writing it towards somebody, towards any audience, right? Towards any age group, any gender, whatever. And I was writing it almost as if I was writing a book, and I even started to write the first chapter down. And then after a couple of days of writing and even delving into this thing called that I wrote, I'm I think maybe 40% of the way or 30% of the way done with it. I'm not going to return back to it either, because it's not my own desire. It's this thing called the Self-Improvement Manual. And I was going to write that, and then on top of that I was going to write the lessons journal, or the lessons book. I don't even know what I was going to call it. I think I was going to call it the Chronicles of Learning, something like that. And after a couple of days of writing, I realized this is not what I want to do. And so in my reflections journal, I started to write down a lot, right? And I started to really figure out, where was this desire coming from? Don't mind the dogs and the birds and everything. I'm outside. Obviously, I'm outside. And I started to realize I started to just look deep into myself. Where are these thoughts coming from? Where do these desires arise from? And I realized that they're not necessarily mine. It's years of people telling me, the way that you write is so good, life-changing, maybe you should write a book, maybe you should do a podcast, you have a voice for these types of things. And I was like, okay, maybe I will. And so I realized that it was just years of people telling me, you should do this, you should do that. And it's not necessarily something that I want to do. It's not my own desire, it's other people's. And so I looked deep within myself, and I realized that's not my calling, to make a book or to make a podcast, at least maybe not right now. Sure, I try to stay humble about it, but I do have a voice for these types of things. I do write things that are pretty life-changing for people. So many people have told me pretty much the exact same thing of, your writing is life-changing, your writing is a lot of things. So many people have gone in and out, so many people that have gone in and out of my life have told me the same thing, that, David, your writing it's incredible. But don't let others tell you what to do. Don't let them instill thoughts within you. Don't let them tell you, hey, you should do this or you should do that. At the end of the day, it boils down to, what do you want to do? You should look deep within yourself. Even journal it down if you want, or meditate it. What is it that you want to do? Not what are other people telling you to do. Because sure, you might be good at something, right? Like art. You might be good at art. You might be good at drawing. You might be good at representing your thoughts into an artistic form, putting it down into paper in a way that everybody else can understand. But that might not be your calling. People might tell you, hey, you should be an artist, or you should go to art school or something. But maybe that's not what you want to do. Maybe it's just a hobby. Like for me, this YouTube videos and like writing and everything, it's just a hobby. It's just something that I do on the down low. It's not something that I want to devote myself to, because I feel like that would really suck. I'm just drinking my green tea. I feel like that would really suck, because just having like deadlines and everything, and like stressing myself out about trying to write a book. I mean, I'm good at editing videos as well. Like some people have told me like, wow, why don't you get into like video production or anything else, right? And it's not what I want to do. I don't want to get into video production. I don't want to get into scripting and everything else. It's something that I do as a pastime. It's not something that I want to devote myself to, because I remember I had an experience with having a deadline. I was doing a project for school. I was editing this video, and I had a deadline, and I stressed myself out so much that I felt discombobulated for a week. And I took a break from editing for a long time. And I don't want that to happen, because in like with writing and editing, because editing is a form of art almost. It's an expression. And then with writing, it's also an art too. And I don't want to get stressed out about writing and doing all this and doing that. I almost did. But then I realized these are not my own thoughts. These are other people's thoughts. And so what I did is that I just let them go. I wrote down, I was like, this is just years, just years of people telling me, hey, you should do this, you should do that. And then it got to me at that moment, and then I realized, nope, these are other people's thoughts. So I just let them go. I was like, truly, in my own core, in my own heart, I do not want to do this. I do not want to write a book. I do not want to make a podcast. I do not want to devote myself fully to YouTube or anything else. These are just things that are a pastime. These are things that are just a hobby, and they've always been ever since, I was like 12, 13. Ever since I was 13. These things are just things that I do whenever I'm bored, or things that I do whenever I feel inspired. And so you might have something specifically like that, just fill in the blanks. It could be it could be a sport, like basketball or soccer, tennis, swim, cricket, baseball. And it could be, as I said, art. It could be writing for you as well. It could be just doing YouTube. It could just be a hobby for you. Editing videos, for your friends or whatever. I have so many videos that I've edited because of inspiration of friends. And that's really all that I wanted to do. I just wanted to show a couple of friends, hey, I edited this video. I put in about an hour of work trying to edit all of this down, and I made this, and I feel proud about editing videos, and I feel proud about writing things too. I mean, sometimes people don't appreciate what you've written, but to you, it's like I have this appreciation towards myself of, yeah, I wrote this, and I reread it to myself, and I'm like, yeah, I wrote this, and then I just move on. But there could be that specific thing of, there is something that you do, something that you're really good at, but you don't want to pursue it professionally. You don't want to pursue it full time. And so what I say is, keep pursuing those things. Keep doing them because you like them. Keep doing them whenever you feel inspired. If at one point you do want to pursue these things professionally, and if you do feel like that is your higher calling, then do it. You know, you have the skills, you have the means. Not only do you have the skill, but you also do have the motivation. But if you don't want to pursue these things professionally, if you don't want to pursue these things full time, then don't. Because you're only going to stress yourself out, and you're going to end up hating what it is that you love to do. We call these things hobbies. We have a person mowing the lawn over there. I don't know if you can hear that. Probably not. I don't know. But don't let people... Don't... It's so loud over here for me. It's kind of insane. We're just... Okay. Right. I don't think it's too loud. Anyways. Don't let people tell you what to think, what to do. Don't let people instill their beliefs into you. See, with these hobbies, you just want to keep them as hobbies. You just want to keep them there. You want to keep them as something that you do on the down low. Because there are so many things that we think about that are not our own thoughts. There are so many external influences nowadays, especially with social media and everything else, and even just, the friends that we talk to. You have to be really careful about what you're thinking. You have to be really careful about who you're letting yourself be influenced by. You should first and foremost, this is the personal step that I've done, it's that I don't have any social media. I don't even have YouTube on my phone. The only time that I watch YouTube is on the TV with my parents, or whenever I do feel really bored. But even then, I don't watch things like entertainment wise. I watch cooking videos and everything, right? It's like wholesome stuff. That, or I watch self-improvement videos. I watch this guy Hamza Ahmed, and I watch those 4-hour videos, and then those actionable steps that he has in between them, this is your actionable step. Go for a run or something, I don't know, right? That, or I just spend my time on Adonis School watching all the modules and everything. I don't have social media because I've seen that it has a very negative impact on my mind. I find myself that I kept on checking, if I had a message, this and that, and I realized I don't have many friends. So why am I checking Instagram or Snapchat all the time? Why am I checking them, right? And even then, it's not like I use them for anything productive. They're just a waste of time. I would sometimes go into Instagram shorts, and then I would just keep on scrolling, and then by the time that I realized, I just wasted an hour on this platform. It's the same thing for Snapchat. I would go in those little stories or whatever. Mostly what I would do on Snapchat is I would be mindful of what I would be watching. I would be watching Business Insider, how are these things made? How are that things made? It's but at the same time, it's not really too productive. And then I would also watch other people's stories and everything, and just so super intrigued on what other people are doing. Why am I intrigued with what other people are doing? Why am I intrigued with other people's interesting lives? Because these are just highlights of the day, right? It doesn't tell the full picture. So, if you're catching yourself watching other people's stories and watching their highlights of the day, then I think your life is a little bit mundane. It's a little bit boring. Maybe you should... And I'm saying this to myself, maybe I should do something important, and maybe I should do something interesting enough that I would want to post it or anything else. But I don't have any social media because I don't want to be looking at what other people are doing with their lives. And so that breeds a very negative thought into your mind of like, oh, why isn't my life that interesting, or why am I not that important? Make yourself that interesting and make yourself that important first and foremost by deleting these social media apps. And stop looking at other people's lives. Like, why are you so nosy? If you're actually interested in them, why don't you just talk to them in real life? But even then, right, this goes into the friends that you have. Most of them are not your friends. You just talk because you guys are in the same classroom, or because you guys go to the same high school, or go to the same building, right? Go to the same college or whatever. Or you guys are just co-workers or whatever. You guys talk because you have to, almost, because social interaction. Other than that, if you try to invite these people out, if you try to invite these people and do something outside of school, most of them will probably say, no, I'm too busy, or, I don't feel like it, or whatever. Most of these people are not your friends, right? The way that I like to see it is that I don't have friends, I have people that I know, right? People that I have over there, and they're just over there, right? If they want to talk to me, sure, I'll talk to them. But other than that, I don't pursue anything else. Because I realize that these people are just there because they need to, right? High school is a requirement over here in the United States until you can drop out at you can drop out at a certain age. I don't know what it is, but at 18 you can drop out, by yourself. But it's a requirement for most. It's a requirement for almost, any job that you need to get over here. But, because you need, high school, or a general equivalency diploma, GED is what we call it over here. It's pretty much like if you don't finish high school, you can go to this other thing and study, your high school. And then get that, and then you can go get, a job somewhere. But most of these people are there because they need to be, not because they want to be. And so, with those two things in mind, right? Social media, you're being influenced by a lot of things, right? These cheeky little companies that are instilling thoughts within you that you don't need, that are not your own. And then you have these other friends, people that you know, that are doing things in those social media, posting their highlights. They're doing things, and you're asking yourself, why don't I have that much of an interesting life? Or why don't I do this? Why don't I do that? It's not your own thoughts. And then in person, whenever you talk to these people, some of these people are not even good people. They're degenerates, total degenerates. They engage in drugs and casual sex and everything else. They're not good for you. And you should really stop trying to hold on to these people. Most of the people that I know, right? I know 3 people that are close-ish to me. They're okay, but I would not count on them. Right? The only person that I count on is my dad, and that's it. Right? Because I know that he's not a total degenerate. Both of us believe the same things. Both of us are on the same purpose. Right? I've yet to find somebody out there that has the same vision that me and my dad have. So most of these people that you hang out with, or most of these people that you know in high school or wherever else, they're not really your friends. Don't be influenced by them. Don't be influenced by the crowd. Because these people are just the crowd. So, just don't let people impose their beliefs onto you. That is the big, overarching lesson. I mean, it could even be good things. I'm not saying that these people can instill their degenerate lifestyles onto you. As I mentioned in the beginning, even wholesome things like writing a book or starting a podcast or self-improvement and everything else. If it's not your calling, it's not your calling. Keep these things as a hobby. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. Take care.